Sniping Wi-Fi with the dope scope, this time on Hak5.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
Hello, and my name is Shannon Morse.
I can't do it the other way right now. We're gonna go with that.
It was good, I liked it.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome everybody. This is our last episode from DerbyCon. We got 6 interviews total.
We're never going back. I really liked DerbyCon.
We'll go back next year.
Oh, then this is not our last episode.
So this is the last one from DerbyCon 6.0. This time we are interviewing Nick Cano about hacking video games, which I personally thought was really cool because I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day I hacked a Nintendo Wii, I think it was.
No. See, I'm thinking audio surf. You need to go back to season 4,
you don't want to watch that.
episode 1 from
it was
2007.
horrible. I was so nervous.
Shannon's first segment.
It was terrible. So we are interviewing him, and then we're also talking to Gene Bransfield about the dope scope.
Oh, this is so much fun. I love this thing. There's
cool.
something really intuitive about it. You'll have to see. It's really cool.
It's very, very cool. So we will see you on the other side. Hey everyone, Shannon Morse here from DerbyCon 6.0 Recharge. We are back in Louisville, Kentucky, or should I say Louisville? Is that how you say it? Louisville?
I think that's how they say it. I'm not sure.
I'm here with Nick Cano. He actually gave a talk here at DerbyCon. Sounded really, really interesting, so I wanted to get you on the show. Hacking video games. I mean, who doesn't like to hack video games, wouldn't you say?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. But I think there are people who don't like to hack video games, but it's not because they don't like to. They just don't know they do yet. Like, it's very fun to me because you get to take reverse engineering skills and coding skills and apply them to games, which are literally the funnest thing in the world, you know? So I think everyone who's watching this and doesn't think they like hacking games should try it, and it'll probably change their minds.
So I've actually hacked a couple of video games in my lifetime. I hacked a Nintendo Wii, and I think it was Legend of Zelda, Twilight Prince? No, Ocarina of Time? One of those. I don't remember which one. But what exactly did you do in this case? Because that's kind of a wide variety of what you could do.
So what we did, it was actually a team of people, and our project was there are open source servers for the game we were working on, and we wanted to create our own server. And we wanted our server to be a mirror image of the official servers made by the official game company. But none of that data is available. All of the map data, the monster data, you only see that when you're at those locations in the game. You only see parts of the map when you go there in the game. You only see certain monsters when you're fighting them. So we said we could do this all by hand because we all know the game very well. We could meticulously map everything out by hand, but let's not do that. We're all programmers.
That would take forever.
Yeah, it would take forever. So we kind of got in the spirit of crowdsourcing without everyone knowing that we're using their stuff, because there is, for this game called Tibia, there's a service called Tibia Cast made by a third party, and it's kind of like Twitch TV, but in a sense that it replays the game packets to game clients, and then the game client renders the game over again. So let's say you're playing the game, it records your entire packet trace. It records your entire packet trace, and then it replays that to my game client, and my game client thinks I'm you, and it shows me everything you're doing. So this service has a large archive of all the plays that everyone's ever done on it. So we're talking millions and millions of sessions of people playing the game. So what we did is we pulled down all that data, we wrote a program that acted like the game client, and then the Tibia Cache service plugged into that thinking it was the game client and started replaying the packets to that. We sped it up in time because a game client can't handle things going on super fast, but an arbitrary parser that we control can. So we speed up Tibia Cast and we made it replay the packets to us at maximum speed, and now we had tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 players that were broadcasting their sessions, now feeding their data into our algorithms that then turned it into a map that we could feed to our server.
So you're mirroring the actual video game into your own thing. Could the servers tell any difference between the two?
So it's an open source server, so it's actually people who went and they reverse engineered the protocol back in 2001, a long time ago, and it's been actively developed ever since then. So they have their own formats for everything. So part of what our tool did was take the game packets and translate them into a format that's readable by that server. And it wasn't just the map, it was like the NPC dialogues, what different monsters look like, where different monsters spawn, basically everything we could do. Then, like, we can't do quests, we can't do complex interactions, but everything that was repeatable, we did like that.
So what programming skills would somebody need to be able to do this kind of thing?
So we used a lot of core hacking skills. So there was kind of memory forensics going on where we had to replace data in the client, such as encryption keys, in order to man-in-the-middle connections. So we had to like replace encryption keys, and we had to replace domain names and stuff in order to man-in-the-middle of the connections and capture packets. There's a lot of programming involved, so the algorithms to piece stuff together, there was some like big data type stuff. So for like monsters that spawn in different ways, and when a player encounters them, they're not going to be in the same location every time. And there's multiple monsters with the same name that might spawn in a location. They might be dead because someone else might have killed them, and we're looking at them over dozens or hundreds of instances. So we had to kind of cluster them together, use pattern matching to match different clusters of monsters and decide how many we had to spawn at certain locations and stuff like that.
So what's your intentions for this project in the future? Are you planning to like release it into the world? Obviously it's open source, so I guess you could.
So the project was actually mainly done by a few friends of mine. I'm talking about it because I want to share their work, but really I want to give a shout out to Cavett Glover, Joseph Bingham, Nico Kooning, I think that's how you say his name. He's a German guy. Samuel Gross and Joshua Kelly. These are the guys who came up with the project and stuff. I helped because I write a bot for this game and I'm kind of a subject matter expert. So I helped them where they needed help, and I know the project well. But they started it, and their intention was they just wanted to run a one-to-one server. They wanted to run a server that looks like the real game. And I mean,
because they could?
Yeah, just because they could. You can monetize it, but there was no real money made on it. We shut it down for now until we decide what we want to do with it. We might release it, but it was a lot of work to do. But some of the tools are open source. So for instance, Sharp Map Tracker is a thing we use to capture the map packets and turn them into the map. So we wired that up to work with TibiaCast. It was for an old version of the game. It's written by a guy called Ian Obermiller. He used to work at Microsoft. Now he's at Facebook. So he wrote this back in like 2008 or 2009 maybe, and one of our guys wired it up to talk to TibiaCast without a client and do more parsing, and then so we could plug that into our algorithms. So that's open source, and I can send you links. And then the whole game server is open source too, a couple 100,000 lines of C++. So yeah, if you want to learn how to make game servers and learn architecture, we'll have a link for that too.
Sounds like you need to know a little bit of C++ to be able to hack your own games together, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you need to know a lot of C++. It's like the de facto language. And if anyone wants to just learn game hacking in general, not specifically about game servers and stuff, I do have a book through No Starch Press called Game Hacking, Developing Autonomous Bots for Online Games. And if you know programming, you've got to know a little bit of programming going in. Like if you know C++, it's good enough. And it will teach you everything from what data looks like at the low-level data structures, different tools, and then it'll teach you about hooking, reverse engineering, and then it'll go into all the algorithms you need to make different hacks.
There's so much in there that I don't know yet, and I seriously feel like I need to get my learn on. Nick, is there anything else you would like to share with us? And where can people find more information online? Do you guys have like an article available or anything like that?
So for finding more information online, the DerbyCon slides will be on my GitHub. I can give you a link for that. And then that will also have the links to the source code that we do have available. And if you want to find other stuff about hacking games, just Google it. There's forums online, and people have done a lot more crazy stuff than this. I'm just one of the few who's lucky enough to come to a conference and talk about it. So Googling game hacking, going on to like MPGH or Unknown Cheats, or even like there's subreddits for it, you can find a lot of cool information.
And where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at NickCano93. You can find me at cons. I'll typically either be talking or at the No Starch booth signing my book. You can find my book at nostarch.com or Amazon.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Nick. That was really awesome, and now I kind of want to get my hack on with some video games. I need to bring it back to those Nintendo Wii days. You guys remember? It's good times. Thank you, Nick. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Here at DerbyCon to find out all about the Wi-Fi hacks, I'm here with Gene from War Collar Industry. Gene, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell me about War Collar Industries, because I'm like, wait, that's that guy from that DEF CON talk, right?
Yes. About DEF CON 22, I gave a talk, Weaponizing Your Pets, the War Kite and the Denial of Service Dog. It was very popular, it exploded, and people said, hey, you need to make this stuff, and I'll buy 60 of them. So I incorporated as War Collar Industries. Shortly thereafter, the company I was working for 8 years before that, they sold, and they got consumed by a corporation. And so I was able to branch out on my own and incorporate cybersecurity consulting underneath the War Collar brand as well. But our main passion is to do Internet of Things development.
Oh, cool. I love the serendipity of those things. Before we get the IoT stuff, tell me about the initial talk and like the inspiration that led to the formation of War Collar.
Absolutely. So my initial talk was, while I was working for my former company, I was often asked to do lots of presentations on security. And I'd look out in the crowd and I'd see people, their eyes glazing over. And so I had to do something to get their attention. And so 15% of the world's internet traffic is in some way dedicated to cats, unverified statistic. And so I started incorporating cats and pictures of cats and stories about cats into my presentations, and people were much more receptive to that. And so I got my point across to a wide audience that wasn't really familiar with information security.
You're exploiting an inherent flaw, vulnerability, in fact, in the source code of the humans. The affinity to the cat.
Yes, that, and I was just trying to keep their attention. So somebody walked up to me and said they're going to give me this Wi-Fi this collar that they won at a raffle, and it was a cat collar, and it had a GPS chip in it and a cellular component, and you can send an SMS to the collar, and it would return an SMS to you with the geolocation of your cat. And me being the guy I am, I was like, well, now all I need is some Wi-Fi, and I got some War Kitty. So that's what started the talk, and I went down that road, and I finally was able to do it, and it was very well received. And so that's what started the whole thing. So I named the company War Collar after that.
Cute. And so what kind of projects have you been getting into since then?
So since then, I've been expanding on the War Kitty thing. I figured if it would fit in a cat collar, it would fit on any human being on the face of the planet. It will fit in a hat, and I've got some components in my hat right now. I can do Wi-Fi scanning as I walk down the street, and we also got various other products that we have. So we have the Wi-Fi dope scope, and what that was we were trying to, at ShmooCon this year, we were trying to raise awareness of our brand and what we're trying to do. So we came up with a Fox and Hound competition, and we had a Raspberry Pi station that was the SSID that everybody was looking for. That's the Fox, and we came up with some scopes that we handed to 5 hounds, and their job was to find the Fox. And the scopes had a directional antenna in there, and they would be able to wander around ShmooCon and actually find the Fox, and specifically the Fox's SSID. When the scopes got close enough to it and the signal strength was appropriate, then the scopes would log into the SSID and present a password to the user. The user at that point had to find the guy with the War Collar logo on their person. They weren't always wearing it, it was just somewhere on their person, and tell them what the passphrase was, and that's how they won the contest and won $50. And we had people coming back to our table. Heidi was nice enough, she said we can set up in the ShmooCon lounge because I was too late in getting the sponsorship stuff in. And people would come to the table and they're like, what's that? And it's like, hi, we're War Collar, we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, what's that? This is our dope scope, this is our marketing scheme. It's like, I want that, I want to buy that. Well, that's just our marketing. It's like, shut up, I want that, how much? And we're like, we hadn't thought about it. How much did it cost to make? And we told them, and they're like, I'll give you twice that. And we're like, okay, show back up after the con and we'll be happy to present you with one. And so we were like, is that real? And so we went to B-Sides Baltimore, and we had a bunch of them with us and said, okay, hey, we're selling these things. And they sold out like that. And we found out later that we weren't supposed to be selling anything at those cons. And we're like, we totally apologized to the B-Sides Baltimore crew, and we gave a full apology. So didn't know, but they sold out. So we're like, okay, let's bring them to Derby and see what happens. And they've been selling very, very well here. In fact, we sold out our entire stock, and we're doing back orders right now.
What would you say the #1 allure is to the dope scope?
It's very user-friendly. It's very easy. You pop it up at your eye, and you can look around and see what all the Wi-Fi access points. And it's got a directional antenna inside of it, and you got this big ball of water behind it, so it attenuates any signal from the back, and it projects energy that way. So it's very good at directional finding. And the way you could find all kinds of rogue Wi-Fi access points with this little scope, the only alternative that you have right now besides that is like a laptop with a Yagi antenna, and the scope is drastically less expensive than that. Not to mention the fact it's got an ESP8266 chip inside. It's got the chip antenna on there, and we've extended the ports out, and we've given a programmable interface on the side such that people can reprogram the chip to do anything it wants, and attached to the ports they can add new hardware. And there's plenty of documentation online about this chip, so people can download code and flash it onto the device, and they're good to go. It's a very open source product that people can do all kinds of stuff.
The 8266 is like basically hacker's wet dream. It's an amazing little tiny chip. What's been your experience with the development with it?
The experience with the development has been very easy. I mean, it takes a little bit to get your head around it if you haven't coded stuff before. But right now you can flash a Lua code to it. You can use Python with it, and we've got all kinds of user experience stuff. We're going to have a forum up where users can come and donate their code and download code from. So it'd be very easy to get hooked up with it and learn how to use it. And
what kind of beam width are you getting with it?
I don't know the answer to that question. We've never actually gone out and measured things like that, but suffice to say that it's very easy to find a specific Wi-Fi access point if you're using the scope.
And then what about client devices?
I'm sorry?
Client devices?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, as in the actual the stations rather than the base stations, the tablets and phones and laptops.
You're looking for it's like if I pull my phone up there, it's going to say Gene's iPhone, right? Yeah, so we can reprogram them to do that. We haven't. In our base flash, it comes out there, it's just doing Wi-Fi scanning. But some of the projects that people have mentioned is looking for hidden Wi-Fi access points, looking for specific phones that are just probing out there for other stuff. It's certainly capable of doing all of that. We have not provided the code to do that, but I'm sure some's going to be up there on the website very shortly.
That's really cool. So do you have like a GitHub on this? Is there a place where somebody can go and like get involved in this?
Yes, forums.warcaller.com is where we're going to be hosting that.
Awesome. And where can people find a dope scope from themselves?
So you can pick one up at DerbyCon. We're going to have a bunch of them at Shmoo. We're going to be selling them on the website shortly.
Okay, and what's the website?
www.warcaller.com.
All right. Well, hey, Gene, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure. I can't wait to see the evolution of this. I love the, 3D printed kind of nature of it. Is it 3D printed or not?
So we started out with 3D printing, but 3D printing doesn't scale very well when you're trying to do a bunch of them, so that we went into silicon injection molding. And we learned that if you do something really small on a 3D printer, when you try to pop it out of the silicon mold, it tends to break. So we're learning all kinds of interesting things about this.
It's just awesome to see like the maker element of it, and it's really cool because it's so intuitive. It's like that viewfinder that I used as a kid to look at pictures of Mickey Mouse. You had one too. Shut up.
Yes, I did. I definitely did. And I just know when you said that, it's like, wow, we could do stuff with Mickey Mouse chasing the thing around. Yeah, that'd be great.
So much good stuff. Cool. Well, I can't wait to see how this evolves. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Crazy cool ideas like letting your editors put epic dance videos in at the end of episodes without you knowing deserve domain names. And when we need domain names, we head over to Domain.com because they have an epic domain discovery system that helps you find the perfect domain just for you. And then it lets you bring it online in just moments. Your website will be up and running in no time flat. That's what we do, seriously. Like we do that all the time and it's just like, boom, Domain.com. By the way, they have a 20% off discount code. It's HAK5, that spells Hak5, and you can use that at checkout when you head over to Domain.com. And you know what else you can do? You can tweet at Domain.com and say, guys, why are you crazy enough to sponsor Hak5? We love you for doing that. Tweet them and say, seriously, guys, Domain.com, it's awesome. Check it out. When you think domain names, think Domain.com. Well, that just about wraps up this week's episode of Hak5, but before we get going, I'm very excited because we have Technolist photos, don't we?
Oh,
don't we, Shannon?
Yes, we do. Actually, there were a lot this week. It was really, really hard to choose one. So I might choose one of the other ones next week. Is that cheating?
No,
I don't think it's cheating. So as long as you contribute a photo to a Technolist photo of the week to any of our social networks, it can be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All you have to do is use the hashtag Hak5 and we will see it. So you don't even have to @reply us or anything like that. But this week I chose Elki, I don't know how to say your name, but I love your photo. He said, building robot spider for school project was my first time soldering, was a blast thanks to your drone videos at Hak5. And this is his spider. That is so cool. And it looks like it's running a Raspberry Pi with a little screen, a shield on there. And that thing is huge.
Wow.
I would freak out if I saw that.
That's like she's afraid of spiders.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan at all. Like one thing
ones?
I'm afraid of, freaking spiders, man. Including mechanical ones. I don't know, it's creepy.
That is awesome.
But so cool, I thought he deserved
You know what he needs? It needs a Wi-Fi pineapple tetra.
Whoa, a tetra.
Yeah, let's send him a Wi-Fi pineapple tetra.
Cool. Yeah, so we're going to send you a Wi-Fi pineapple tetra. I'll get in contact with you over direct messaging. And you guys can always send in your photos, #Hak5 at any time. It doesn't have to be during the same week as an episode, so you can just send it whenever you want, and we are going to search through them and find our favorites.
Yes, and if you want to just grab yourself some awesome Hak5 hacking gear over at our very own hakshop.com, that's the Hack Shop, and that supports us directly, and we really appreciate everybody who has, for the longest time, kept us going, so thank you.
Yes, thank you to everybody who contributes and helps us with everything that we do here.
Yeah, and you can actually find out all of the other things that we are doing as of late. You just go over to the homepage, hak5.org. At the top, we're going to have the latest workshops and other events that we're doing, as well as all of the social media links to find us online.
Absolutely. I think that's about it. You can always email us, feedback@hak5.org. That's it.
Yes, and we are out. With that, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
Trust your technolist.
That was so off. Oh, what? Oh, wow, that was amazing.